And welcome back on Take Action News. This is Daniel Marins on Saturday, February 9th. If you're joining us now, you can watch us live on YouTube at takeactionnews.com. You can also listen to us wherever you are in the country on weactradio.com. We thank all of our listeners and our affiliate stations in Chicago and Columbus and Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're continuing our conversation about freedom of technology and the issues of information and how we use it. Joining us now is Derek Khanna. Derek is a fellow at Yale University Law School. He is a former staffer at the Republican Study Committee in Congress, and he wrote an article for The Atlantic that just went viral. It's called The Most Ridiculous Law of 2013. It is now a crime to unlock your smartphone. It got over 1 million hits on the Atlantic site, bringing down the site temporarily. Derek, thanks for joining us. Derek, we're going to have to ask you to unmute yourself by clicking on the top right.
Sorry.
There you go. Derek, for people that are wondering, what's wrong? Tell us, what is this law against unlocking your smartphone?
Well, basically what happened is the Librarian of Congress passed a rule in November that said that unlocking your cell phone is now a violation of the DMCA. And that went into effect last weekend. So it's now a civil crime, but also a criminal crime to unlock your phone, which can make you liable to up to $500,000 fine and 5 years in jail.
So I want to backpedal just for a second for those of us that aren't familiar with all sort of the technical language here. First of all, the DMCA, that's the Digital
Millennium Copyright Act, passed in 1998.
Copyright Act. Yeah. And you mentioned that this is literally an act that forces lobbyists for blind people to go to Congress every year to beg them to create an exception annually so that they can read copyright written books to blind people.
Yes, it's quite an Orwellian law passed by Congress in 1998, and it makes a large number of technologies effectively contraband. And one of those technologies is adaptive technology for the blind. So actually, there are lobby groups that have to come to lobby the Librarian of Congress and ask for this exception. Actually, every 3 years, not every year. But I argue, and I can't imagine a more onerous regulation than requiring for a lobby group for the blind to come and ask for their adaptive technology every 3 years. I think it's a pretty stupid law.
So what are people missing out on that they can't unlock their phones legally right now? What would that allow consumers of technology, people that have iPhones, to do exactly?
Sure. So I mean, it's a basic property right argument is if you bought the phone, you should be able to unlock the phone. And so what unlocking lets you do is if you go overseas, for example, and you want to bring your phone with you, if you unlocked it, then you can use the local carrier. Similarly, when your contract ends on AT&T or T-Mobile and you want to switch to Verizon, but you really like your phone, this gives you the ability to bring over your phone with you if you choose to unlock it. So it's a big problem, and it's really unfortunate that this ruling was made, and it really is an invasion of our property rights.
I want to bring into this conversation Alan Rosenblatt. He's our social media fellow. Alan, you have any questions for Derek?
Yeah, hi, Derek. Nice to talk to you. So I wanted to clarify because it sounded like you were thinking the same way. But the idea is that after your contract is over, then you should have the freedom because obviously when you get a contract, you often get a discount on the phone in exchange for that connection. Is that correct? Is that the way you see it?
Well, it's actually very unclear what is still legal and what isn't legal. Some have argued that you may be allowed to unlock your phone after your contract's up if your carrier gives you permission. But it's my argument that you shouldn't have to ask for permission. You should be able to unlock your phone when you're in contract or when you're out of contract. And as far as the contract being subsidized, of course the contracts also have an early termination clause. So the carriers have chosen to give you a way out of their contracts. So you could terminate your clause at any time, and you have to pay a $400 fine or something of that order in order to make that cell phone provider whole. So unlocking actually has nothing to do with violating a contract. You're still under a contract, even if you unlock your phone, and you're still required to pay a per-month fee or that early termination fee.
So even if you unlock the phone in their contract, you're still paying on the contract.
Exactly.
So that the obligation under the original term of getting that discount on the phone is still being met.
Exactly, and the cell phone provider therefore is made whole.
Right. Okay. Well, it certainly seems reasonable. I mean, I like the idea of being able to carry your phone over. I've had to go through changing phones on a couple of occasions for losing a phone or it dying, and it's no fun, especially when you love the phone you already have. It's nice to be able to keep it. Can you talk a little bit about what are the advantages, aside from just being able to use it on another carrier, of unlocking your phone? I've heard stories of how many carriers, when they lock the phone, they actually reduce the numbers of functionalities that the phone are capable of doing.
Well, I think what you may be thinking about is jailbreaking. Jailbreaking is where you unlock your phone's full potential in other arenas. So your iPhone, you can install other programs on your iPhone. But unlocking is primarily so you can use it on another carrier. But it has a lot of utility beyond even just switching carriers, which is, let's say you had an old phone and you weren't necessarily going to use it going forward, but you may want to use it as an emergency phone and keep it in your car. And so you sign up for some some carrier that you just want to have a certain number of minutes on.
Derek, it's such a good point. I mean, there's so many applications there to unlocking your phone, and I think obviously you come from sort of the right side of the tech freedom debate, and this may be an issue where right and left can make common ground against crony capitalism and for consumer choice.